Are you listening?
Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Report. My name is Brian Chappelle, and on this week's episode, China revolts against children gamers, Activision makes a ton of money off microtransactions, we get you prepped and ready for Xbox's upcoming XO19, and the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn may have just been confirmed. But before we jump into this week's massive episode, your top headlines. First up this week, China. This week, the country of 1.4 billion people continued its ongoing war against video game addiction. You may remember that earlier this year, China had issued a ban on video games like PUBG, Fortnite, Overwatch, Paladins, and World of Warcraft, stating that these games were either too violent or too boobalicious for the great people of China. But this week, the Chinese government has issued new regulations stating that children under the age of 18 can no longer play video games past 10 p.m. The regulation also restricts children from playing video games for more than 90 minutes a day during the week. However, that time does extend to 3 hours a day during the weekends. Which, I get that this is just China, but I am totally going to use this with my kids. Hunter, I swear to God, if you don't get off Fortnite, the government's going to kick down that door and take you to a forced labor camp. Yeah, let's see you use your Fortnite pickaxe there. But from China, let's now go to the United Kingdom. London, to be specific, where Xbox is filming its latest episode of Inside Xbox at this year's XO19. And next week's Inside Xbox is set to be a big one, with 12 Xbox game studios in attendance, showing off both new and current titles. New PC and console games will be revealed for the Xbox Game Pass, along with Xbox teasing a big Project xCloud update. Now, XO19 will kick off on Thursday, November 14th and last until Saturday, November 16th, with the latest episode of Inside Xbox airing on November 14th at 8 p.m. UK time or 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Quick question, what's the craziest thing you've ever spent money on? A sports car, Nerf Report t-shirts, or maybe even a book on how to become YouTube famous? Well, all of those purchases have nothing on this next one. This week, a new profile avatar was marked for sale on the PlayStation Store. But unlike normal 99-cent avatars, the State of Anarchy Master of Mayhem Golden Prince avatar will run you $100. The avatar is based off the 2017 top-down PC shooter game, which was recently added to the PlayStation 4. $100. Still not the stupidest thing I've ever spent my money on. And speaking of meaningless microtransactions, Activision and Blizzard announced their third quarter earnings to investors this week, and prepare yourselves. Because despite protests surrounding both Call of Duty and Blizzard, Activision Blizzard earned $718 million in in-game purchases for the last 3 months. Now, that number is down from the 2018 third quarter sales of $1.44 billion, but Activision Blizzard did state that their games Call of Duty Mobile, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and World of Warcraft Classic all had record-breaking first months. Well, that is going to wrap up this week's top headlines, but before we dive into this week's top story, let's talk about our Game of the Week.
Are you listening?
This week, our Game of the Week is none other than Luigi's Mansion 3. For those of you that don't know, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a brand new game for the Nintendo Switch, where while on vacation, Mario, Peach, and the Toadstools all get tricked and encapsulated into portraits by King Boo. But luckily for us, Luigi escapes and must rescue his family and friends. Now, the perfection of Luigi's Mansion 3 is immediately felt while playing this game. From start to finish, this game exhibits a tone that carries you all the way to the ending. Each floor of the hotel exhibits its own style and theme, a concept which allows the story to go in multiple directions. You ever dream of fighting a ghost T-Rex skeleton? Maybe go toe-to-toe with an Egyptian queen? Or maybe star in your very own kaiju film? Luigi's Mansion 3 makes all of these dreams possible. Now, for me, Luigi's Mansion 3 is an absolute must-play, and it might be one of my favorite games of this year.
Now for something completely different. Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn, a game where technology has destroyed mankind, dinosaurs are now giant robots, and humans must fight back with primitive weapons. Also known as America 2021. Vote responsibly, people. But in all seriousness, a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn has long been speculated ever since this game first launched. I mean, in its first 2 weeks, the game sold 2.6 million copies, becoming the fastest-selling non-sequel for the PlayStation 4. Fast forward 2 years later, and Horizon Zero Dawn has now sold 10 million copies. And in today's world, 10 million copies not only justifies a sequel, but you're going to be getting a novel, comic books, podcast, theme parks, hell, you might even get a Disney Plus TV show. But in regards to a Horizon Zero Dawn sequel, the first rumors began to circulate when voice actor Janina Javankar, who plays Tatai in the Frozen Wilds DLC, told a fan who was expressing love of her character, "Just wait until you see the sequel. I know some secrets. You're gonna die. You are gonna die." Wait, you as in Aloy? Wait, is Aloy gonna die? And that, children, is how clickbait is born. Anyway, back to the sequel. This week, the sequel of Horizon Zero Dawn may have been unofficially confirmed by the developer themselves. That's right, thanks to a job posting on GuerrillaGames.com, we now know that they are hiring for a technical vegetation artist? A technical vegetation artist. That sounds like what you tell your parents you do at Thanksgiving, so they're not ashamed of you for making eggplant and peach emojis for Apple. But apparently, a technical vegetation artist is a real job. In fact, Guerrilla states, within Guerrilla, we have 4 teams dedicated to creating the stunning environments of Horizon. One team focuses on the creation of lush and stunning vegetation. We build these 3D models from scratch so our world dressing teams can deliver our immersive world with industry benchmark graphics. As a technical vegetation artist, your main tasks and responsibilities are help with the creation of vegetation assets that are used to dress the game world, optimize our game's content to run with memory and fit our performance requirements, resolve any of bugs to improve playability and the overall quality of our game, collaborate with other Guerrilla developers to meet the narrative, quest, and design requirements, analyze, plan, and collect references for the assets that need creation. So let's just add this all up. We have impressive sales history, a confirmed voice actor, and a vegetation artist being hired by Guerrilla Games. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are about to get a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Sunset. Now, the only question is, when will we see the sequel? And the obvious answer is not 2019 or early 2020. But what if Sony was crazy enough to launch Horizon Zero Dawn 2, which is guaranteed to be an insanely beautiful game alongside a similar insanely powerful console? I mean, we do know that the PlayStation 5 will be launching during the holiday season of 2020, and what if PlayStation used Horizon Zero Dawn 2 as a launch title to boost sales of the console? I mean, stranger things have happened, but I, for one, am just excited that we are getting a brand new Horizon game. And finally, for this week, we come to... That noise, of course, signifies that we are running out of time and coming close to the end of the show. So, in order to cover all the week's remaining news, we must initiate a segment that I like to call... Every single week we have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying! So, with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Thunder noise! And go. Rocket League in-game music will be partnering with Beat Saber. That's a really cool crossover. Crash Team Racing will be adding a new update, which will feature the Neon Circus Grand Prix. Pokemon Go fans get hyped because Team Rocket bosses are now playable in-game. Diablo 4 will not feature an offline mode. US gamers have spent over $27.9 billion on video games in 2019 alone. Congratulations. We're now broke. Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold 115 million units in its lifetime. Speaking of Death Stranding, big week for that game, but there is a Death Stranding bike inside of Days Gone. Really neat crossover there. Ottoman Empire will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. SingStar and Drive Club will have their servers on the PlayStation 4 shut down in 2020. And speaking of 2020, Just Dance 2020 launched this week for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Google Stadia, and Nintendo Wii. For like the 5 of you still using a Wii. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Nerds in 60 Seconds, and that is it for this week's episode of the show. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, please share it with your friends. As always, my name is Brian Chappell. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really into the channel, please share it with your friends. You know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or if you're Amish and watching this, use a carrier pigeon. Just write a little note and then it works all the time.